Google essentially has its fingers in just about every online pie you can imagine. Its best known function, of course, is online searching. But it doesn't just search for you. Google places a cookie. Are you familiar with the term cookie? It's a little file that is stored on your computer to identify you when you return, so you can save preferences. Like when I go to ESPN.com, they know that I want to find out what happened to the Bears and how badly they beat the Packers last weekend, Russ. So it stores those kind of preferences. But what Google was doing was it put a unique identifier on your computer, and then the cookie didn't expire until the year 2038. 2038. Now, how many of you expect to be using the same PC in 2038? I mean, the point is, it would follow your computer until that computer bit the dust. Now, privacy advocates complained about this, and so Google said, okay, all right, we get it. And now it's only a 2-year expiration date on the cookie with the unique tracking identifier, but the date refreshes every time you go back to Google. So, again, for the life of your car, your mileage may vary. And they're not alone. Other search engines do the same thing. Bing, Yahoo, they do distant expiration dates as well to track your computer and what you're doing through their services. Now, how does Google respond to complaints that this is a violation of privacy? Well, Google CEO Eric Schmidt, seen there with another famous guy, said, if you have something you don't want anyone to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. If you really need that kind of privacy, the reality is that search engines, including Google, do retain this information for some time. And it's important, for example, that we are all subject in the United States to the Patriot Act, and that it is possible that all that information could be made available to the authorities. Other aspects of Google's reach across the internet, of course, Google Chrome, the new web browser, which is faster than the others, so we use it. Gmail. How many people have Gmail accounts? Okay, well, all your contacts belong to them. Google Maps and Street View. There have been some privacy complaints of cameras getting too close to houses, like, well, look there, there's the bunker. And you know, you can almost read the license plate number on Brian and Lori's van next door. Google Earth, we mentioned that. You also get a nice overhead shot of just about any place on planet Earth, like, oh, well, there's the bunker again, a top view. Google, by the way, markets a higher resolution version of this to intelligence agencies around the world. Other things that Google does online, shopping, Google Checkout, that's an alternative to PayPal. Social networking like Google Buzz and Google Wave. Google Groups, all of your interests are known to them and the people with whom you associate. Google Calendar, who uses that to coordinate between various machines? Yeah, I use it. Phone, iPod, laptop, desktop, all that stuff stored on Google servers and might be made available to the authorities. Videos, Google, by the way, owns YouTube. Google Desktop, you can install an app onto your laptop and let Google search your hard drive for you. Google Health, store all your medical records online on Google servers, now protected by the NSA. Google Documents, of course, you can store all your letters and spreadsheets and presentations online. Picasa for online photo storage. Blogger, anyone have a blogspot.com account? You ever read a blog and somebody's at blogspot.com? That's hosted on Google servers. They own it. And Google is now marketing a new operating system called Chrome OS, which is based on the concept of cloud computing, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Google is, in effect, has become a reality interface. When you do a Google search, say for a fast food restaurant or an Italian place or a tire distributor, what do you think of the people, the companies that are like on the 10th or 12th page of the search results? Frankly, for most of us, they might as well not exist. Or we think they're probably not worth anything because they weren't among the top 10 hits. Google shapes our perception of reality by the searches that they return to us. Perception is reality. Search for a company, if they're not among the top hits, they might as well not exist. Google, incidentally, is also, and remember this point, a corporate founder of Singularity University. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Cloud computing. What is it? It is essentially where the apps and the data are all stored on their servers or someone's servers on the internet. Your computer or your processing device only becomes an interface with the cloud. In fact, most of us probably do some form of cloud computing. Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo Mail, all stored on their servers, cloud computing. Photo services, Flickr, Picasa, cloud computing. Oh yeah, Facebook. All your friends belong to us. Facebook, over 500 million users as of July of this year. That's equivalent to the combined populations of the United States, France, and Germany. One of its principal investors early on is this fellow, Peter Thiel. He's a billionaire, the co-founder, former CEO of PayPal, considered one of the brightest minds in the investment world, invests heavily in new technologies, especially those that involve bringing people together via the internet. He's a member of the Singularity Institute for Artificial Intelligence. There's that word again, singularity. Remember that. We'll talk about the Singularity Institute in just a bit. He invested back in 2004 about $500,000 and got himself a 10% share of Facebook, which means that on top of well, like I said, he's a billionaire, so he's doing fine. He's also invested in web startups and websites like LinkedIn, which is a business site that brings people together to share curriculum vitae and resumes and so forth. Friendster, Yelp, Yammer, which is like Twitter but more secure for corporate communications internally. Genie.com for genealogy buffs like me. All get together through social networks in which Peter Thiel has invested. And we will come back to this gentleman in just a bit. Another investor in Facebook, surprise, surprise, In-Q-Tel, the venture capital firm of the Central Intelligence Agency. Now, what potential benefit would you see for the CIA in investing in a firm that brings together networks of people who share common interests? In-Q-Tel, CIA funds it with about $37 million a year. And as of, 2006, this is old data, they put about $150 million into over 5,800 business plans. You see, they determined as far back as 2004 that they weren't keeping up with the pace of development in Silicon Valley. So rather than trying to hire the geeks into the CIA, they just decided to give the geeks money to do what they wanted to do anyway, and then benefit from the technology that came to market. One of their other investments, which is kind of interesting, is a company called Visible Technologies, which is a company that monitors social networks like Facebook, Twitter, and then develops intelligence analyses for corporate clients based on that. Again, just another means of mining the data that we provide through our tweets and our posts and our likes and coming to conclusions about us, basically profiling us through the information that we willingly provide. This is a subject that has puzzled me for quite some time. In fact, there was an article that was just posted to a tech website the other day as to why is Farmville so popular when it isn't really any fun? Now, I know there are some who disagree. I mean, Sharon loves to play Farmville. It's a way for, she and her sisters get together through Farmville and trade stuff back and forth all the time. But it's a game that never ends. You can't ever win in Farmville. And yet, Farmville, Frontierville, Zynga Poker, all those little games that you get to through Facebook have over 226 million users a month. People who go online and play these flash games and develop networks of friends through these games. Google just bought, or rather invested $100 million in the company that developed Farmville and Frontierville and Petville and Cafe World and Zynga Poker. What benefit to Google from people who play these games and build networks of friends through these games? They're looking for that same sort of Facebook social network data. In fact, there are rumors that this is the first step toward Google building a Facebook competitor. What happens to all of that data? Those networks of friends that we have built for them? Not sure, but it may be provided to law enforcement authorities to comply with the Patriot Act.